Hey everybody, welcome to Gatekeeper Media's coverage of the Women's Open of Maryland, edition number 4, presented by BlueChip Technologies. I'm Andrew Fish, joined here by Michelle Frazer.
You're going to get to see 27 holes both days here at Seneca Creek State Park in Maryland. It's a beautiful course and beautiful fall weather and colors you'll get to see.
Yeah, we're super appreciative of our sponsors for the event. This coverage in particular is sponsored by BlueChip Technologies. Rob Stark has been very supportive of several disc golf events in the Virginia and Mid-Atlantic area. Thank you to Discraft, and thank you to all the Patreon supporters of Gatekeeper Media. You keep those folks on the road, and they put out good work, so thank you to them. Michelle, what are you looking for going into this round in this tournament?
Yeah, so like I said, it's 54 holes of golf, and it's very wooded golf. So I had the privilege to practice a couple rounds and get to learn the different shot shapes required to play well on this course. It's par, I believe, 94, so several par 4s out there, lots of birdie opportunities, but also a lot of trouble to get into. And we have a field of 12 open women, a few touring pros there, and a few locals, and they all came out ready to play in the woods like you see here on hole 1.
Yeah, for sure. Hole 1 kind of starts you off with a little bit of a gauntlet. You need to keep something straight. You can throw a forehand or a backhand, but need to make sure that you're in the fairway to make it an attackable 3.
So first on the card, in this feature card, we have Missy Gannon, who is playing for Discraft. And she's going to show us, hopefully, how to get down this gauntlet.
It's a good swing, pushes it to the right edge of the fairway. A little bit of a dead skip, huh?
Yeah, but still have a putt, which I would be content with on the first hole.
Right.
Beth Kimball is second on the card. She's from Richmond, Virginia. Switched over from Ultimate to disc golf a couple years ago, and showing her skills off there with that forehand. A lot of power, even though it did get off the fairway.
Yeah, Beth is actually last year's U.S. Women's Advanced Champion, which is pretty cool. She's made the leap up to Open this year.
And then Lisa Fajkus, you saw third on the card. I'm rounding it off. I play in Pennsylvania, New Jersey mainly. This is my first time down in Maryland, but it was a very rewarding experience.
Yeah, good. And you're starting off the tournament. I don't know if you can do it a whole lot better.
No, I was pretty excited with that. Lisa and Beth do make good recovery shots here, able to stay down the center of the fairway. This was fun for me on the first couple holes here, too. You see in the background of Missy's putt there, that's actually my mom, who's playing in the FP40 division and tees off a couple cards after me. So she watched me for my first couple holes.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. You come from a whole disc golf family, right?
Mm-hmm. We discovered it together back in Indiana. My two sisters and my parents all play. So it was really fun to have. Actually, my dad was around as well for the weekend and got to all practice together. Mom, dad, and I. It was really nice.
Yeah, it's pretty great. We see a good par cleanup by Beth, and Lisa able to do the same. So no harm, no foul on the little bit of some errant drives to start.
And you see in the background there a couple kids out taking photos. It was fun to see a few members of the younger generation out watching the feature card and watching Sarah Hokum on the other card and getting really excited to see disc golf in their home course.
Yeah, this was the weekend after the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championships, so we kind of made a push to get a few of the touring pros to come up, and we're very appreciative of them for making the journey. Hope we can, continue to support touring women and make it more visible.
So hole 2 is the first of 13 par 4s that we have on this 27-hole course. The par 4s, none of them are crazy long, but they all have their own obstacles here. We've got a lot of trees blocking the upshot as well as an elevated basket.
Right. You definitely need to pick a side of the initial gap to work with. You're going to take the left side, playing a little bit of an Anheuser flex here.
Right. And a little left, but it'll still be in the fairway for this upshot.
Yeah.
So these front 9 holes here are our first 9. Our second 9 will actually be the back 9 on the course. And those 18 holes combined, all of the divisions in the 72-person field of women will be playing. So everyone from the juniors to the over 60. And the layout was designed, I believe, to be very compatible for all those divisions. But then we get to play the middle 9, just the pros and advanced later. And you designed that to be hard for us.
Yeah. So Allie Stone, my co-TD, and I walked the entire course and picked out 2 different layouts. One that we thought would be, fun and approachable for the pro and advanced fields, and definitely added some distance, added some challenge, and then a more approachable layout for some of the newer players or those in the junior divisions. And overall, I feel like it turned out pretty good. Our scoring spread seemed reasonable, and nobody came back crying.
Right. Everyone I talked to had a fun time. So these holes were plenty challenging, also for us pro players. And a little more drama on the last 9 we'll play, but still plenty here. Skippy greens, elevated basket, Missy playing smart there and just sliding it up by the pin to save her par.
Yeah, so we've got some birdie looks here. Don't take any of these for granted, even though you played your backboard nicely and slow pace. It's a tricky green.
Hey guys, Missy Gannon here. I just want to give a quick shout out to all of my sponsors, Discraft Disc Golf, Birdie Fuel Coffee, and Grip Equipment and OTB Discs. They support me all throughout the year, so it would be a big help if you go support them. You can pick up my personal coffee at birdiefuel.com. You can also pick up a Tour Series disc at either discraft.com or otbdiscs.com as well. And then obviously the best bags in the game, Grip Equipment. Go check them out, and yeah, you're gonna get some good stuff by supporting those guys. So again, just wanted to give a quick shout out and thank you all for supporting me.
All right, so you saw that Lisa and Beth and I were able to get our birdies, and that brings us to hole 3, which is a downhill par 3 and the first of the holes that play along Seneca Creek.
Yeah, so this is going to be a little tributary. The actual creek is dammed and forms a pretty cool recreational lake. All of the OB on this course is going to be to the left side of the fairway, so you as a backhand dominant player need to be pretty precise with your angles.
Right, and I am not here, but I get saved by a fortunate tree.
Yeah.
Beth is going to approach this with a forehand. Plays it nice and safe there. Little too short, but might have a long downhill putt if she feels like being gutsy on the very skippy green with OB behind it.
Yeah, for sure. Good shape here by Lisa, pushing it to the right side, but ace run might be a little too high now.
Yeah, and that does find the out of bounds. Missy's going to take the safer backhand route there, which is a really good play. Allow her to fade back and give herself the best look for a birdie that any of us have here.
Yeah, I really like the way she threw that without a whole lot of speed, but with a lot of spin and nose up. That kept her straight and slow as she got there.
Beth and I are able to slide it up under the basket. Lisa has a long look to save par. Just so close.
Yeah, so she'll end up tapping in a bogey. This hole definitely played hard. I think there was only one birdie in the field for this round.
And plenty of bogeys with the out of bounds. Missy coming up just a little bit short. She's all over the basket here in these first couple holes.
Do you guys care what order we tap out in? No.
We're going to just see a bunch of tap outs here. You also see we're playing in a lot of leaves. I was very grateful to be on the videoed card because that meant we had a catch cam looking at where our discs went under the leaves. Made for gorgeous fall colors to play in, but pretty tricky in practice rounds keeping an eye on your discs.
Yeah, for sure. You don't want to throw your dull orange or your gray.
No.
As a TD, I have to be super appreciative of the spotters that I was kind of able to just delegate out there and help everybody.
So hole 4 is another par 3. Now the creek is on, the tributary from Seneca Creek is on the left-hand side.
Yeah, so as a backhand dominant player, this hole doesn't shape great for you. How are you going to approach this in order to be able to attack?
Yeah, I decided in my practice rounds I would attack this hole because I do like turnover shots. So I'm trying to sneak through those trees, put more height on it than I would have liked because I'm always scared of hitting a tree and kicking into the creek, but got lucky and made it through them all. So I might have some kind of look at the basket. Beth plays the better route, the forehand, but doesn't get quite enough hyzer on it, leaving herself a long uphill putt.
Yeah, she got all the distance she needed, but wasn't quite spiking in enough at the end. Missy's going to try to match that, but doesn't put a great release.
And Lisa also with the forehand look.
Yeah, so Lisa might have been a little intimidated by what she saw Missy do and determined not to make the mistake, plays to the very safe side.
Yeah, and we see on Missy's upshot here that while all these holes are very attackable, a lot of scramble can be required if you get just a little bit off. It makes it for a really fun course because you can kind of never let your guard down. You have to focus on every single shot.
Yeah, I really like courses like that where they're very playable for a wide range of players, but you have to execute.
Just high on this putt. Again, all over the basket for Missy. I have a long downhill putt that I'm feeling like I'm riding high, so I'm going to go for it. And fortunately, that works out.
Yeah, there you go. That was a very confident smile before you threw it.
Pretty excited at this point to have played so well the first few holes.
Yeah, so it seems like you're really dependent on momentum. Is that something that characterizes you as a player?
Yeah, definitely. And I have to work really hard when I get a bogey to try to bounce back as soon as possible. Really just working hard during this round to sort of live in the moment and really enjoy myself out in a beautiful park and not let the A-tier touring pro pressure get to me, even though we're playing for a lot of cash. Try not to think about that at all, but just enjoy myself.
Yeah, but still there's the psychological part of wanting to prove yourself, wanting to demonstrate that, you belong on this feature card.
Right, exactly. So I wasn't going to hold anything back. So hole 5, the last of these holes in a row that play along the out of bounds on the left-hand side. And there's a creek crossing the fairway as well. So lots to look out for on this tight fairway.
Yeah. So this is the C-pen, so the longest available here. You might see some players play to the right side where there's a shorter basket.
Right, there's definitely an alternate backhand hyzer route there, but I like going straight up the middle.
Yeah.
Flirt with those trees.
I really like that shape if it can land softly.
And it stays a couple feet from the out of bounds. I was holding my breath on the tee, watching for the spotter's okay sign.
Little wobble out of the hand, but flexing back. Beth is going to use the out of bounds to put her back in bounds.
Right. We're both feeling pretty fortunate at that point. Lisa's going to demonstrate the safer route, taking a nice gentle hyzer that should put her right in the middle of the fairway. If it gets to those trees, and it does, so that's very well done.
Yeah.
Missy will take the same route.
Very nice flat release. You see she kind of just drives it straight, doesn't worry about getting it back to the main fairway.
Right.
And this is a very good play by Lisa. If you throw this straight at the basket, there's good potential for it to skip down to the OB that's just inside the circle. If you play it up to the right side and clear a log at circle's edge, you're kind of on a shelf that makes your putt a little more playable.
Right. She did that really well. Missy getting in a little more trouble with her forehand, but still giving herself a putt for the birdie as Beth also slides it up there.
Yeah, good touch.
You see me waving my hand around wildly. It's because there are a few gnats out on this course. But I've heard from those who played the tournament in past years when it's normally in spring or summer, I believe, that the few gnats are a lot better than some of the other bugs that come out.
Yeah, no doubt. This isn't quite a swamp, but it definitely does seem to Oh, wow. Good putt by Missy to get her 3. It does seem
Wow.
to encourage, bugs to be out. And we kind of figured that cold and leaves were going to be better than humidity and bugs.
Definitely. And we get to watch this brilliant putt by Missy again. Way to kind of get herself back on track after scrambling for a few holes and being so close on those long putts. Nails that one center chains.
Yeah. One thing I keep seeing is that, at least through the first few holes, is that Missy's ending up with putts that are at or just outside the circle. And that can be a little bit stressful as you try to play an entire round and feel like you're not putting yourself in easy birdie position.
It definitely can. And you see me, I feel like I'm riding high here because I have a lot of shorter putts, but there's a lot of golf left, and we will each go through our seasons of feeling like the birdies and pars are coming easy and feeling like we're having to hit circle's edge putts just to stay afloat. It's a lot of golf.
I think that's something interesting about 27 hole rounds. It's kind of standard to play just 18, but I think there's some value in having to gear yourself up for a long grind of 27.
And hole 6, no longer dealing with the creek, but we have a nice obstacle of sort of a shelf going down on the left-hand side that, especially as a right-handed, backhanded player, you want to avoid to make this deceptively hard hole work.
Yeah, this one can be a bugaboo for a lot of players. You're going to get one nice touch.
Yeah, and I released that very poorly, too far left and high. Got pretty lucky to stay up on top there.
That was good action out of Beth. It was drawing to the left, but she kind of missed the last tree that was truly in her way.
Lisa makes this shot look easy, giving herself a long putt for a birdie there on what is a pretty hard hole. It's particularly hard because if you get a unfortunate kick like Missy did, there's a lot of trees to get through on your scramble shots.
Right. She's having to fight the elevation and trees and probably some thorns on, around her body as she's trying to get a good backhand release there.
Right. And there you see one of the spotters that are out on the course, keeping us from being worried about losing our discs over the cliff. Very grateful to them.
The rare forehand.
And it doesn't go super great. But give myself some sort of a putt at least for a par. Beth's forehand is going to look a little more natural than mine. Gets a rough kick, but still a putt to save, I think, a bogey at this point.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to get in trouble on hole 6. You'll hear folks refer to it as natural OB or whatever.
Yeah.
I haven't found a great way to play it in 6 years of being on this course.
And Lisa does the nice half run there for an easy par while the rest of us are scrambling. Oh, so close. Again, Missy all over the basket. She makes those long putts look really natural. And I will take a bogey and have to try to not let that deflate me too much. And I'm not too worried. It's 27 holes.
Yeah,
I'm going
right.
to get a few bogeys out there.
You saw how kind of contorted Beth had to be to make that inside the circle putt work. It looked like she was very much shielded by that larger tree to the left of the basket.
But she saves the last putt. Again, a deceptively hard hole. It's only 278 and definitely reachable, but
I don't think we saw any birdies on this, right?
I don't think there were any birdies on this hole, no.
All right, so we're going to move on to hole 7. Hole 7, uphill, par 4. I really like the way this one shapes up.
Yeah, it opens out up a little bit more than these wooded holes, so it'll be fun. So par 4 hole, but don't let the short distance deceive you. It's uphill, and it takes 2 good throws to get up there.
Yeah, for sure. The shape you're going to want to look for is something that gets over to the right kind of late in the flight. Otherwise, you're dealing with a couple of the cedar trees that really define Seneca Creek State Park.
Right, and the low-hanging branches make those uphill shots even harder to get distance on.
Absolutely.
So Lisa's trying to play it to the right, probably gets a little further than she would have liked, but still will have some sort of shot up the hill from there.
So what are you going for here?
Turn it over a little, let it fade back a bit. Actually lands right where I was hoping. So that, from practice, I decided that was the best lie for an upshot.
Yeah, I agree. You see Missy kind of trying to follow that. She goes a little more hyzer to flip up release, and that's going to tuck her underneath a couple of cedars.
Yeah, so she's going to have to throw low on her upshot. And Beth proving that she can throw with power in a backhand as well as a forehand. A little low, but plenty of power on it.
Lisa goes to the forehand, and that's a pretty honorable effort to give her a chance at the birdie.
Yeah, because she had a really long uphill shot from her lie because the tree kicked her a bit back down the hill.
What is it? Some big Anheuser forehand or forehand roller? Maybe somewhere in between the two.
That was a lot of height up the hill, though, to get over those trees.
Yeah, I like the creative play. And you're going to just throw a nice little backhand hyzer that scoots on you.
Right. Scooted a little more than I would have liked. I hadn't played this hole well in practice, so I hadn't had that easy of an upshot. So I didn't know how the green played. But Missy playing the green to her advantage, skipping to pin high.
Yeah, both of you with a pretty playable birdie chance. That's one thing that I really like about Seneca Creek State Park is all the greens play a little bit differently. Some are fast, some are slow. And until you've gotten in a couple practice rounds, you might not be able to optimize your play on the green or on the fairway or anything.
Right, the practice really paid off here. And Missy sinking her birdie putt. Good bounce back from the last hole.
For sure. She's kind of alternating her birdies and bogeys right now.
I managed to get my bounce back too, barely.
Yeah, almost too good, too square.
I'm Allie Stone.
Hey, I'm Andrew Fish.
We're co-TDs of the Women's Open of Maryland, edition number 4, presented by BlueChip Technologies.
We're super appreciative of BlueChip for being the title sponsor for this year. Additionally, video coverage, players packs, and added cash were supported by Discraft, West Winds Disc Golf, Nova Disc Golf Association, and RSAS Decals.
So hole 8 is another par 3. It's only 290 feet, but I'm pretty sure that's measured if you went straight through the trees. The play on this hole is to throw it straight and let it fade back towards the basket. And it's actually pretty hard to reach distance-wise, a little uphill as well.
Yeah. A very specific line that's gonna test all of your distance and accuracy at the same time.
Right. None of the open women birdied this hole this round, so I think a lot of us are playing it for hopefully an easy par. But the upshot can get tricky with all the trees.
Yeah, that's a pretty good move on it.
Yeah, I faded a little earlier than I would have liked and got the roll backwards, but should be able to get up and down from there.
Missy pulls it a little bit, gets a tap that'll put her still in the fairway, but a ways back.
Lisa, similarly to me, hyzers a bit, but she gets through and gets more distance. Should have a pretty straightforward up and down there as well.
I kind of like this play by Beth. She might have gotten her practice rounds in and figured that she wasn't birding it with the backhand, so she goes to her strength, gets it close to pin high, and it's conceding the par, but putting her in a position where she can get a low stress par.
Right, she has the cleanest lie probably off there on the right.
For sure.
Where the rest of us are in the middle of these trees.
Once again, we see Missy putting herself at circle's edge for a par save attempt.
Beth and I have little Anheuser upshots.
Yeah.
And it's a slow green, so it's easy to lay them up.
Yeah, very well executed there by both of you.
So Missy lines up another circle's edge putt. She looks very focused on this one. There's a couple trees in the way.
Yeah, gonna have to hyzer it around them. Oh, if she starts to get those to fall, like, she could be in a very, very good position.
Well, good news is there's still 19 holes left this round.
Yeah, right.
For her putting to shine.
And we know that's something she's built her reputation on tour to, have very good finishes at the Preserve, Dynamic Discs Open, several A tiers.
Yes, she won the Stafford Open that I played at my home course of Stafford Woods in New Jersey.
Yeah, there you go.
It was a pleasure to watch her shred my home course. Put me to shame there. So hole 9 finishes toward the parking lot. This course is really neatly designed so that all 3 9-hole loops finish toward the parking lot, which is great in a long tournament, allowing us to get dry towels or whatever we want out of our cars and help ourselves to the plentiful prepackaged snacks that were provided.
Yeah. Generally, we like to provide, lunch and grilling and just a big community vibe. That wasn't quite possible this year, but we hope everybody had a good time regardless.
As a player, I'm just grateful that you and Allie fought through all the hoops to allow this event to even happen, even in its reduced capacity, because we needed something after Women's Global, Women's, the USWDGC, all that falling through this year. Having a women's celebration of disc golf was really special. Right,
and we're appreciative of all the players who came out, all the sponsors, all of the locals who work on the course. They had Seneca looking as good as I've ever seen it.
So all of us are getting our drives out in the open so far, and if you get a clean drive out there, the really good shot for birdie with the upshot. And Missy powers one out there as well, so we'll see how we can do with our upshots.
Yeah, Missy might even be on the fringe of being able to give it a half run or something. Lisa's left hers too far right, but is able to scramble very nicely with a forehand.
Yeah, for being a backhand dominant player, I'm really impressed with her forehand. It was definitely inspiring me to practice mine more. Lovely, gentle upshot there by Missy.
And Beth with the long drive.
Gonna leave herself a little bit of cleanup there.
Uh-oh. Kind of a 50-50. She pulled it maybe a little bit right.
Missy tapping out in an up and down round, but she really was able to bounce back from each of those bogeys with birdies, so definitely mentally tenacious on that front 9.
Yeah, that's pretty key. Lisa gets herself to 2 down, and you end up at 5 down for the front 9. That's going to put you squarely in contention.
Yeah, I've been watching the live score as I've been playing, not only to see where I line up, but watching my mom and friends in other divisions as well. And actually, Sarah Hokum was also hot in the front 9, so I was trying to keep up with her, and was just really excited to be staying close. So we're tied up after 9 holes, and hope you can come back and join us to see what happens in the rest of this round.
Absolutely. Thank you for watching. Join us in the middle 9. Thank you to Gatekeeper Media's Patreons and to all of our video coverage sponsors. For Michelle Frazer, I'm Andrew Fish.